Hello everyone, here we are, welcome back to Purbeck. So today we need to get the cows back into the field first of all. I've got a boom arm now, so I've got the mic nice and close to my face, off the desk, so it shouldn't wobble as much. And I've also got the steering wheel plugged in, so there'll be some questionable steering and controls for the first few days on Purbeck while I get used to the steering wheel again. But the plan now is to get these cows out in the field. Just because I tell them I think the marker's by the gate actually. So open up the back door on this. I'm going to just take 20 cows in there, unless they've reproduced over winter. I shouldn't have just yet because they're quite young. And we're going to put 10 out in the field. And we're going to leave the gate open, so then it will just sort of look like they can go in and out as and when they please. So we've got the bull, one cow in there. So we're going to get... We've got 5 limousines out. We'll get 5 Anguses out. Into field. Frustrating, I've got to do it this way with a big lorry, but we can't do it on the menus. So at least then, what I'll do is as well, I will open up the gate. So I'm going to leave 10 in there because it just allows a bit more production of manure and slurry. And how we're going to play it is open fields. They can get in and out of the fields. The bull's free now to do as he pleases, not locked away. So they can all come in and out, and they can go into fields and they come back in whenever they please. And I'll get manure produced and I'll get slurry produced at the same time. So it does help us out for the year with that production. So I just need to find the marker for this because they're quite small. I feel like it's around here somewhere. I'm just going to tap R until we find it. Let's just turn on the markers quickly because it is quite a small one because they pop up when you get close. Like it's here somewhere actually. Is that it there? There we go. So if we move those to the fields. There we go, and they're nice and happy now, back out in the fields for the rest of the year. Just check the feed actually, so we've got, is it no milk? Food, we've got 23,000 litres, and again they are going to be on hay and grass at the moment. Again, once the hay goes down, we can get some TMR also in the mix. I mean, they'll help with reproduction, but they won't really need it for manure and slurry because they won't produce it in the field. But the ones on there, I think, in fact, what we'll do is we'll have grass-fed beef cows out in the fields, and hay if we need to, and we'll have the cow shed with the TMR in, so they get a bit of both then. Nice grass-fed cows and some good feed for when they please. So we'll head down, make sure we close the gate behind us this time because the cows are loose. And we'll go check our feeds as well before we head down to the arable farm. So yeah, apologies about the last episode 15. There was a bit of an issue with the export because I use my iPad to edit and export, and sometimes the iPad just doesn't like big files any more than sort of 35-40 minutes. It just doesn't like it. It just fails to export. I don't know why it does that. It just does it. So I need to try and keep the videos. We'll try and pause the recordings every now and then so they're in smaller snippets. Helps a little bit, not one big continuous recording. So I do apologise that it was in 2 parts. I noticed the views weren't as good as they would have been normally, but we have had a bit of a break as well on the Christmas break and whatnot, and leave and sickness and whatnot. So I am back now. I'm back to work next Monday. It's just a Friday night before. It's about 11 PM right now. I thought I'd jump on. So I'll try and get as much recording as I can tonight, and I'll try and get some more done over the weekend, and I'll try and publish that throughout the week coming up. Probably won't get a chance to record any videos during the week because it's going to be quite a busy week back at work, obviously. But I have done a few recordings on Umbrian Valley. I know it's not my most popular series compared to this, but please do check out the Unbin Valley series. I've got my joystick and steering wheel set up now, so I'm making a lot more progress with the login. Makes things a lot easier to have ground and money, and it's just more enjoyable with the joysticks as well. So look forward to that if you do enjoy them. I'll put it on the community feed, but what I'm looking at doing as well is making like a hybrid series. So I'll do like I'm doing now, and we'll also throw in the time lapse in the middle of it. So it won't be like we get on this, we throw a bit of sped up time. It'll be the sort of a lot more time lapse, but I'll jump in live chat and to sort of discuss what I'm doing a bit more in depth. So it's a bit of best of both worlds. I know some people for some reason like the pleasant tones of my voice, but yeah, look forward to that also. Anyway, I'm once again digressing from the video at hand. So go and check the feed. They should be out of all, grass and hay now, I suspect, or very low. So we are the cow shed. Yeah, so they've got 2,000 litres left of grass. Now I'm not sure because it's a planted seed bed if the grazing mod's working. I keep meaning to test this, but I just keep forgetting. So I think we will see if I just leave it for now in progress time. The grass doesn't look short actually, so I don't think it is working. So I might have to actually add it in the landscape. But the problem is with this grass is different to the rest of the map. I think sometimes it's different. Yeah, it's like a different shade. Look, you can see it there. It just looks a bit yellow. I don't really like to do that. It doesn't really match the rest of the fields. So I think what I'll do, I'll just leave it as B. Because they're going to have TMR anyway. This is our main cow shed. They're going to get most of the TMR. So we will top them up when we get a chance next. So where are we at? The old mini BGA here. It probably isn't processing right at the moment actually. Let's have a look at reductions. I like the still manure in there processing. It's obviously a lot slower, this one. It's just a mini one. So the rate is a lot slower. So that is still ticking away. And again, we'll top that up throughout the year. Every 2 or 3 months we'll throw in any manure we get. Still got some excess bales here as well. Still need to as well is find a place to put the sell point. I mentioned it before about like a sell everything point, so we can sell some bales, because you can't sell bales on this map. So what we're going to do now is we will head down to the other farm. And we will need to get our crop in the ground for the year. So I mentioned this on my mod tutorial video, like my top mods. Basically, a lot of videos that advertise proseed, they do it on nice square American fields, so it's just no trick to it. It's just straight lines. Set your GPS course, and then off you go. Automatic mode, and you can have a nice straight line, plenty of room to turn out into the field. But as you can see on these fields here, you can't just have one big straight line going through it because there's nowhere to turn around. See the bushes there? Get to that and you have to reverse back down yourself. So you need to do it in a certain way. I mean, I'm no expert. I've used this tip from Sim Farmer's videos about how he does his, because I noticed he did it a different way to everyone else as well. But the problems I've encountered at the moment, I was trying to fill this up this morning, is this one here is not working. It's not allowing me to fill it up from the into the seeder. It's also not allowing me to up it or to fill it with seed or anything. So I'm not sure if I need to place seed in it first of all to fill it. Let's just do a very, and this is not conventional, but it's a bit of a learning curve for everyone in case you are wondering. So we get a big bag of seed. I'm not sure if it'll just go into there. No, so that's not working also. I'm not quite sure why it's doing that. I had the same issue with the fuel. It wouldn't let me refuel it. So when I actually add fuel to it, it wouldn't do anything. As it's doing now. It lets me refuel now. When it's empty, it won't give me the option to buy more. So I'm not quite sure whether it's a map issue or the mods or not. I don't think it's a coincidence both of them are doing it. So what we'll do is, we've got a bag here now. We would have gone to the store and got one, but yeah, yeah, that was more of a test anyway. So we're grab in the front loader here, or the we have got the joystick plugged in as well, so we can try and do this better. I should probably keep the forks attached now, really. Don't need the bucket just yet. So for some reason it's not letting me just pour in. It just closes a certain way, so I'm going to have to do it manually. So start the engine, hit R there. I think it's only 8 litres actually, so we'll probably are going to need some more. Okay, hi everyone. So this episode's going to be a little bit out of sync. So I was doing this last night. I went to do the field over here, but I messed it up. So I then went and did this field here and got it as best as I could get it and close as I could get it to the real thing. So we're back the next morning. It's April 2 now, and I've just seeded the ground, so I just put in a quick F12 menu to do it to save some time. And what I'm going to do now is show you another way of doing the tram lines without having to worry about doing it as you're going along. So what you can do is you can do the whole field in one go. You can just hit left control R, turn the tram line on, make sure you're in manual mode for this though. And what you can do is set yourself up a course play, and either let course play do it all for you, or you can use these as a reference. So just hit this icon here and you right click, and you can use these now. So I can do 1, 2, 3, so my 3 headlands, and then my 4th tram line will be this section here. I can just follow this line. It's not the most realistic way of doing it, but it does help as a guide to do it at the end. And then it will be 4th, and then 1, 2, 3 again for the outside perimeter, and then for the 21 meter spread it will be 7 gaps on chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in the middle of the field roughly, and we can have a tram line down the middle, and that will cover us with this section and obviously the other section of the field, and the headland should cover it all. So we should only need really most likely just one tram line through the middle of the field. It's probably unrealistic using it on such a small field, but it's just for demonstration purposes really. So we're going to give it another go now and see how we get on. I've noticed as well, even though I've got my new boom arm, it's very good, it's very adjustable, but it does still have a little bit of wobble that's just down to the desk. It's a pretty steady desk, but I think it's my floor is not completely even because there's a cottage I live in. So I'm going to try and adjust or get the boom arm mounted on like a block of wood on the wall instead of on the desk at some point. So if you hear my voice sounds a bit like it's sort of cutting in and out slightly, that's because I'm moving the steering wheel slightly, and obviously it's making the boom arm and the mic wobble just ever so slightly. So apologies for that in this episode. I should have it fixed for the next one. So what we'll do is we'll turn on our tram lines, and again what you don't want to do is turn the seeder on, just have the tram lines on and it will still work. So we're going to have our entry point here. So again 1, 2, 3, and then we can jump into our 4th line. Again, that will be our half tracks, because then we need to have a full circle around the field, and that will cover us on both sides then. So you can see it's much easier now. You can just follow nice smooth lines as best you can. It's still not going to be perfect, but it is a nice little reference to use to save you having to do it all sort of manually if you're trying to learn the process first. And it does help with these corners as well, because you can have nice smooth corners to some extent. Again, I always forget to turn early, but it's not a big drama. But you'll get used to that as things go along. It's a bit wonky already, but to say they're quite tight corners we're on. So maybe this time we'll turn, maybe slow it down, and turn in nice about now. Still a little bit sharp, but much better than the previous one. Just make sure you get yourself straight back up when you turn as well, because I'd sort of wobble a bit there. And then you can floor it, keep it as level as you can. And if you wanted to, you could probably put in a GPS, but as you can see, even if I use GPS now, because of this field, it's not even straight. You can see there, even these course play lines aren't completely straight, so you couldn't just do, apart from the middle ones for the headlands, so they're never going to be perfectly straight because the field shapes vary. A nice early turn. Again, I could slow this down a bit more so it's nice and smoother, but again, just for demonstration purposes, and the video's gone on quite long already. And then you're going to rejoin into our previous track. So that'll be our complete headland then. And now we need to now do, obviously we do another 3 headlands, and then we need to have the 7th line in. So what we'll probably do is we'll head down the field. Just make sure we turn off our tram lines now so we don't overdo them again. I actually have a bit of a mess. So we'll do 1 complete circle, and then we'll go back down on ourselves. So you can see I messed up this corner here a little bit. And then it will be 7 across from the lines here. So we need to basically be, that's our headlands. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So pretty much bang down the middle. So we'll put in our turn here. It's this one here, I think. And then that will be our middle section for the middle of the field for the sprayer. Again, you could probably use your GPS now and have a nice straight line. I'm not overly fussed at the moment. Now what we need to do is figure out if we can do another one on this field. So obviously the headlands is going to cover anyway the first section of the field. So if we go from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will be about there. It's quite difficult from this angle. So the boom arm's going to obviously cover from this section here. It will cover 3 across, so 1, 2, 3. And then obviously this headland here will go 1, 2, 3 across. So we'll probably miss a little bit off slightly, and we could probably put another one in down the middle here just to be safe. We'll do it just for demonstration anyway. So what we'll do is we'll go from here, jump back into our existing track. What I suggest you do once you hit it is just turn off your tram line, and then it'll be 7 down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So aim for that one just there. Keep it in your tracks, and now tram lines on, and a nice smooth corner. Again, this is not the most perfect way of doing it, and I find it a lot easier to do it in one pass, so it's nice smooth corners. But again, this is a really good way of doing it for reference. If you haven't got GPS and you don't want to use GPS, or you don't know how to use it, and then from there we can just merge back into our existing track. We can either go left here and take the shortest way back to the field, or we can go right, but it's quite a sharp turn, so I'm going to put a left turn in here and just rejoin to the existing track like so. Turn off my previous tram line, and there we go. And now if we turn off this one here, what you'll see is we can do that's worked out fairly well actually. So yeah, you'll come in here, you'll do a full pass around the field, bit wonky there. I might just do that again and then just seed over this bed here just so it is a bit easier. So You do a full pass around the field, and then you can either you do a full pass, yep, all the way around, then you come back up this, on this track 4, down this section here, down and around, and then back onto your track, and then up this one here, and then back onto where you came, turn your sprayer off, and then off you go, and then you can exit. So what I think I would do is, just going to turn our seeder on. So this is why you need to turn off your tramlines as you come back onto your previous track, because it can do this sort of thing here. So what we'll do is, it should work, if we turn the seeder on, it will overlap what we've previously put in the ground. If not, you can just go over it all completely and reseed it. I think I might get the stubble effect for some reason. It will appear on my screen if I turn my seeder on now. Whatever reason it keeps doing it. So what we can do is turn our tramline on, turn the actual seeder on, and then just give it a bit of a smoother turn there. Again, so it's not the perfect way of doing it again, but it is a really simple, and you've got an interactive tool then to use and the visual aids to help you. And there we go, we'll turn, just lift up there. So there's a bit of a smoother turn now, and all we'll do is we'll just get rid of that existing track just by reseeding it. Again, this is definitely not how it's done in real life, I'm sure, but for the game purposes it works quite well. Oh, I've not lifted up there for some reason. That's why I was not reversing very fast. So again, just mind your tracks, turn your tramlines off. And just re-go over those previous lines just to erase them. Yeah, if someone just give me like the stubble effect, I don't know why it keeps doing this, but it does. I think that would do us there. Yeah, not quite sure why. Whether it's the machine does the stubble. There's obviously nothing to grind up because it's just a seed bed that I did earlier. So I'm not sure why it's giving me this effect, but it is. Hello, Arthur. The dog's come say hello. Hello, sir. But it's a little bit better. I'll jump into build mode quickly. You can see it's a bit smoother. So you come around, somewhat smoother. It's not perfect. That will do. And there we go. Nice and easy. So I've got basically half tracks on the field, because obviously if you did a full one on the edge of the field, your boom arm will be hitting the fences and the bushes. So you put in a half track. So in this case, 7. So obviously half of that is 3, and then the fourth one is your tram line. And then you've got nice even 7s then, so it's nice and spaced. So it's actually worked out quite well, this field. I thought it was going to go badly again. So probably always worth putting the tram lines in. And this one here is obviously looking a little bit different because the field narrows a little bit. There probably was a way of doing it mathematically so you get it all perfect, but I've just did it this way. So it's not going to get complete sprayed. I mean, this bit here might get missed a tiny bit, but it's, you know, it's going to work to some extent. So there we go. That is our first attempt at doing tram lines on this game. I have my board down here, just practicing the actual how it works. But I'll just quickly show you. We'll see this anyway when we come to do it anyway. Just so you can see it sort of visually. Obviously, you'd have to come onto the field first and then reverse back to get your arm out. This is a pretty big boom arm, this one. So you come into your field, and then obviously we'll turn left here. You can see now the reason we did a half one, because now we're covering that left side of the field close to the edge of the field, whereas if I did next right to the edge, the boom arm would be way over there. So you always do basically half of what you'd normally do. So obviously in this case 7 will be the 4 in the middle of it. So we'll come down, and as you can see we're spraying this section here, tractors on the way there. Just skip over this. We do a full pass around the field, and then what you'd imagine now is we come back, take this track here, and you can see now that obviously this section's been done. Now this bit's being done. And then it does look better once the crop grows as well. The lines aren't as dodgy. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the previous part of the video, but when I roll this seed bed, the lines will disappear, but don't be alarmed. They will still remain in place. Once the crop grows, the lines will come back. So there you go. That's how it works basically. Obviously it's not the best tractor with this heavy bit of kit. And you can use narrow tyres, but I personally don't like using them. Just driving straight over the crop. I think if it works, maybe it work for like corn and that, because it's big long stalks and you can get tyres in between them. But I feel like even the narrow tyres on wheat and stuff would still destroy it to some extent. And I just don't like using narrow tyres on this game really. I prefer to have tramlines in. It gives you something to do. So there we have it. That's 2 fields of tramlines done. So we need to decide obviously now what we put in these fields here. I think I was going to go for some sunflowers off the top of my head. I can't remember now what I said earlier. So we've still got 3 fields to do. I think for now we'll call it a day, and then I will get these ones done in the next episode, or I'll maybe make a start on them, do half of them, and then we'll jump in as I sort of finish up and we'll go into the next episode. So yeah, it's been a bit sporadic because I was up till about 2 in the morning trying to do this the first time, but now I've figured out how to do it, and again using that course blade trick does help with the visual aids. Hopefully in the next fields it should go a lot smoother. But yeah, thank you for watching this episode, and it's good to be back after New Year, and I hope I have more videos out to you soon. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.